special
Run
guest.
the intro, he says. Run the intro.
On the intro. Oh, oh, oh.
What is going on?
G'day from Australia. Ralph, the special guest, joining us tonight. I don't know whether he's hungry or he wants to trade, but either way, it's been good, Ralph. He says we're going down. I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Welcome to another episode of the UTG Market Update. Tex and Ads here with you. Big episode tonight. We had a really nice session on Tuesday night, and things have gone to plan so far. Will the streak continue? Stick around. If you do like what we do here at UTG, of course, hit that subscribe button, unitytradinggroup.com. Come on over to the free Discord, all the free guides. Everything we do is free. We do it because we love it and we love this community and sharing with you. So come on over and trade with us. As I said, big episode tonight, BTC, F, and the Forex markets. Let's see what's happened since Tuesday ads. We spoke about this pennant, this triangle formation, and went through a couple of the different scenarios that we expected to play out. We spoke about this being sort of a loose pennant pattern. We were looking for either A, a break to the upside, or B, a breakdown towards this demand zone, which we said was more likely. The reason being because of these touches of this sort of major trend line. And while this was, I guess, a weaker demand zone than what we have down here, the likelihood of this breaking to the downside, and we said at that time, we said you might want to wait for this 4-hour candle because it was looking bearish before you placed any bids for moves to the upside. And ads, we have not changed this since Tuesday. A perfect touch on the 38, a perfect touch within this demand zone, and a perfect touch off this overall trend line. What are we thinking from here after this rejection off the 61.8 today?
In regards to this level of demand, and one moment, let me just, there we go. In regards to this level of demand, I'm looking at here. It's, like you said, it's pretty weak in terms of as far as demand levels go. And that's caused by the demand being obviously created or manufactured in the middle of a trend and not on a significant pivot point as it was up here. And of course, we've got a very small one down here. So the one down there is going to be the one to really look for. These levels are like magnets. So if you see a higher level of demand, of course, we have one at the 16.8 and we have a very small term one down here. So I'd probably say that this is going to be the highest quality one as of recent time. And that probably holds true if we put on the VPVR. We could probably see that there's a little bit more volume here. There's a significant amount of volume here. And of course, there's a significant amount underneath it as well down the bottom here. So there's a number of levels that we could push to or pull back to. And I think the pullback hasn't really finished because this level here wasn't that strong. It's of low quality and it really shows, because we didn't have a real decent reaction off this level. Now we've come up to the 61.8 as we thought we would, and the reason why we thought we would is because if I draw this horizontal ray just to the left of the 61.8, we can see just to the left that we've got a significant area just to the left here in terms of resistance and supports, and a lot of flips occurring there. There's a lot of liquidity to the left, so that's why I was really picking out that 61.8 on that Tuesday night live stream. And we're seeing this level come to fruition now. Whether or not we're going to get more of an upside potential or an upside back to that 78.6, that scene of the crime where we really left off, remains to be seen. I think it could be on the cards, going off, our indicator steamroller, but it's a little bit of a stretch. It's a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. Reason being is we're coming up to that 50 resistance on the RSI, and of course we've entered the band already on that CCI. So those can react a little bit, quite quickly, as we can see at the moment. We're not far away from that 50 resistance in terms of the RSI. And I say the 50 resistance because it acts as support as it does resistance on the way down or when we're trending underneath it. So it's a good one to look for. It's a good one to have on your RSI if you do use RSI. But in my opinion, I think we're going down, and I think that 16.8 is going to be that level to look for, Ty.
Yeah, and this trade setup, shout out to you, Dill. You went through that and spoke about how you got to buy on that demand zone. Not only do we have Steamroller down here sort of giving us the go ahead, we had this demand zone and we had a pretty quick ascent down towards that demand zone. And even though it was of a lower quality than what we would find here, and in particular here, when everything kind of lines up, you got trend line support, demand line support, you got 38.2 support, and you got Steamroller, more, very importantly, telling you that we are reaching oversold conditions. It was a pretty clear cut trade setup for that. So really glad to see you take that, mate. And of course, we talk about this again very openly inside our free Discord. So come over and join us. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and get all the updates when we do go live. I'm of the same, excuse me, the same opinion ads. I think we could see a similar situation to this, where we see a little bit of a double bottom here, where we're either going to have a double bottom and continue back up within this this overall trend. But now, we've again made another lower low here as well, and this sort of area would seem like a good area to potentially reject and continue on down towards that overall demand zone. I'm not screaming for that one just yet, but we're in a little bit of a limbo situation at the moment. I think if we put on our UTG EMA fan as well, you'll likely find that we've got a fair bit of MA cluster there. So we've got our 200 MA here, which didn't quite act as support just as of yet, but certainly would be nudging towards that level if we do double bottom here. And we have our 50 and our 100 MA acting as a level of resistance above us. So in terms of resistance above this immediate level, yeah, there's quite a bit that could definitely hold us down. So if we broke above, I'd certainly be waiting for a confident break above and or a retest of this level before I thought we were headed back up towards that 19.4. So Thursday morning, we didn't quite get we got it, I guess, a day earlier, and we said that on Tuesday. We said that Wednesday volatility was likely, if not Thursday. We're getting towards the end of the week now, so it'd be interesting to see what happens with the little bit lower levels of trading activity that we see throughout the course of the week over the weekend.
Yeah, look, it's a little bit of a hard one because it's not we haven't smashed through the demand yet. So for me in particular, it's not a complete definition of yes, we are heading to the downside. If I had to say anything, we have respected that level of demand, and of course that steamroller level that we're sitting at currently looks okay for a further move, towards possibly that 78.6. So there's that. And also not to ignore the fact that we have bounced pretty much very nicely off that level of the trend line that has been in play for quite some time. So there are, for and against, there are, areas of both directions. If we break and close this level and we break through the demand, of course, our 6,800 or 16,800 level is in play. But we could definitely see that 786 or even 19K even for a resistance level in the immediate term. That's what I think. I can't hear, bro.
Excuse me. There is a nice little trading channel here as well, where we have sort of ping-ponged in between these levels a couple of times now. So that could certainly be an area. But again, as we say, we're not going to call directions, but we're going to say have a plan for both. If we do break above the 61, great. Or if we continue back down towards this demand zone, there's a few options that we're looking for.
Yeah, look, we've read some of the comments that are on YouTube, and a lot of the recurring comments that we get is in regards to honesty, and that's what we try and bring every single week and every single update here at UTG. So thank you for all your comments. However, we really need to make it as clear cut as possible. We need to break and close above this 6.1 to see that 78, and if we're going to see 6,800, we need to see some evidence of that, whether or not that's a break of that level of demand and of course that level of that trend line also.
Yeah, and it's all good and well saying we're going up or we're going down, but you teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. So we'd rather educate you on the options and the scenarios that are in play rather than saying clear cut, this is an up or down, without really you diving into it and understanding how it might apply to your trading techniques or your trade plan or the timeframes or the type of trader that you are. So we'll just mention that as well. All right, ads, let's get into FUSD. A similar story with F. as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was fortunate enough to get a trade on this one because of that the very oversold steamroller condition that hit on the 61, and again that play on the demand zone. I exited my position this morning because if we do put on our MA fan again, or even Unicon as well, we had a fair decent bit of resistance around this point here. So I'm now out of this trade and waiting to see what happens if we do double bottom again. I think the formation is a little more clear cut on ETH than what it was on BTC. So we could again, we tend to follow this pattern a little bit after semi or significant drops to the downside, bearish sort of moves where we have this sort of automatic buying reaction off these demand zones, the test of liquidity. There's a lot of buys here in this area. We head back up towards a significant level of resistance. We dump, or we head down again, and then we see a secondary buy up before the trend continues. So for me, I do think we might be headed down towards this demand zone, and we've got a decent level of support there. But again, it's all very dependent on BTC. But at this stage, from an MA standpoint, and what we're seeing here, I feel that could definitely be on the cards. Ads.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. In the way of how I would read this one, we have broken through that level of demand, so it's very open for a movement to the downside. It could give us the glimpse of what's going to happen in the future of BTC. And
would you say that's a little more? Sorry to interrupt, because I know other people will be thinking the same thing. With that breakthrough demand that we saw, Han, with the demand on BTC, we sort of saw just the tail end of a wick, whereas this one, we've got a pretty significant body breaking through that as we do the wick and completely through the demand zone. Would you say that is a more clear-cut breakthrough demand than what we saw on BTC?
Yeah, absolutely. That is a more clear cut. So what would happen in this case, what would go through my head was, would we have been broken through this level now? And that would lead me to believe that if we were to retest this area again, it would be extremely weak, or, of course, non-existent, and would allow myself to look further down, possibly between that 78 and 88 level, looking towards that for a further movement. So that would be a decent clear cut, identifier, as in that is a low quality demand to begin with, and we have moved through it significantly. So that would clear out the buys at that area, and I'd be looking lower.
Wonderful.
Just to quickly follow up, I've got a question on YouTube. Is that fibs upside down for BTC? Dill, no, it wasn't upside down. It was actually a trend-based Fibonacci from swing low to swing high back to the dump. So 1, 2, 3, and it gives you the fibs to the upside to really gauge what levels we were going to break to the upside if we were to break that 20. So that's why those fibs were in that direction. They're not actually a fib retracement, it's a trend-based Fibonacci.
Very, very good, sir. All right, are there any alts that we want to look at, or are we going to let the alts simmer for a little bit and then get into the DXY and the Forex stuff?
Look, the alts are faring pretty much the same way as ETH. We're looking at ADA here, and of course there's BNB. The the BTC pairs are a little worse off, I guess. But if we're looking at BNB, there's a whole lot of these sort of setups occurring. So if I get rid of the fan just now, we're looking at lower levels of demand. And of course, we are respecting these levels now in accordance with the demand level, of course, and of course steamroller as well. We have been slipping for quite some time, and now we're sitting at these levels. And this really goes across different BTC pairs. So if you want to have a look at bottoming pairs, it might be the time to do that. So the first thing that I would really look at in this instance would be the BTC dominance to see if we're going to fall a little further, and it does look like it might because we've had that move through that level of demand, and of course the one below it is in sight. So if we start to move to the downside, we could probably see some of the higher caps in the way of BNB, ADA, XLM, even XRP. A lot of those higher cap altcoins move to the upside. That could be a significant, telltale sign that we might see those demands or those formations be respected over the next course a little bit, and that really holds true with a lot of these BTC pairs as BTC really moves to the right and doesn't really give us a clear indication on direction.
Beautiful. All right, let's get into the Forex and DXY and wrap this session up. Of course, anything that we look at when it comes to the Forex markets or these regulator markets is, of course, just opinion and is not financial advice whatsoever. You can chat with your own licensed financial advisor if you want to know more.
So the DXY is something that we look at quite often on these live streams and on the daily updates, and it's been pretty predictable. I don't have to say that again, but we are seeing more of an upside movement that I really anticipated. I'd really thought we were going to get held up at this 91.11 and then come down and retest our 90.40. That might still be on the cards. It's still early days. There's still 2.5 hours or 2 hours 50 minutes left in this 4-hour candle, so a lot can happen in the 2-hour time frame over the course of this evening. But if we are to push above this 61 and close, obviously our 78, 88 and 100% retracements on the cards as well. And I've really set those out, and the 100 really stands out to me because we've got that liquidity to the left and we've had a significant bounce from that area, so that could pose a little bit of risk for the DXY in the form of resistance. As well as looking at our steamroller indicator and moving to the upside and getting towards that overbought area. We all know how decent and how accurate the steamroller indicator is on the Forex stuff. But really looking for the 61 to either break or hold, and that'll really give us an indication on, are we going to head down to the 90.4? Or are we going to head back up to that 100% retracement at 91.50? That remains to be seen. I'm looking for a break and close, really significant one at that, and a head towards 78.6. If I head over to the All Ordinaries, we had a little bit of a down day today on the All Ords for the Aussie market, and that really shows on the daily chart, because if I just move to the daily, it was on the news this afternoon, and I did watch it. Not that I paid too much attention, but looking at it on a down day, looking like a bearish engulfing. And I haven't said that in quite a while. I don't use that term very often, Ty, but a bearish engulfing on the top of this move at 97 or 69, 65 roughly. Could it be the top? Could we be seeing the same occurrence here where we had this bearish engulfing prior to the movement to the downside? I think that's going to be very much the case, to be completely honest. If I'm drawing our fibs and nipping that up, we can see that we're trending below the 23.6 now, and we could very well see this head back down to 61.8 at the 6827 mark for the All Lords.
And it's not like I'm a massive formation guy, but on the 4-hour, that looked like an evening star as well.
Yeah, an evening star on the 4-hour absolutely could be the case as well. But I usually pay more attention to the daily on this because it's such a slow moving index. So the daily really gives you the best indication on direction. But there's a couple of bits and pieces that we can look at. Our RSI is turning down, same with our CCI, and of course Steamroller is up in that overbought area. Money. So three very reliable indicators on a regulated market. And if I wrap us up on the SPX 500, we're seeing a very similar sort of occurrence, but we had that occurrence yesterday for the S&P 500, and a very slow day at the moment, which is still occurring, which has still got 12 hours to go on the S&P. So that might give us a little bit of a further movement to the downside. That was a terrible line. Further movement to the downside towards our 36, 37 area. And if that it does occur, we could probably expect the All Ordinaries to continue down over the next little bit.
Thank you very much, sir. And thank you, more importantly, the wonderful listeners and viewers and subscribers of this channel. If you do like what we're doing, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. Every time we go live, you will get updates. We look at this live in real time. This is not pre-recorded. So everything we do, you will get instant access to. Of course, unitytradinggroup.com.au. Come over. All the good stuff. It's all free as well for you, the trader. Paying for expensive courses, come over and get it free from us. And head to the Discord as well. And without further ado, ads, we'll see you on the next session.
Absolutely. See you guys tomorrow night.
Take care. Bye-bye.